Which rare bird sighting report didn't start with it? The ducks. It was a close call this week. For almost the entire week, there were no reports of ringneck ducks, not a single observation from the usual dune lakes, and nothing from the Herugewaard area either. However, on Sunday, someone finally reported an observation of the bird at Vogelmeer, which secured its inclusion in this report once again. It's always exciting to observe a rare duck like the ringnecked, especially since the anticipation grows when it seems they might not show up. Meanwhile, the lesser Scaup was observed even more frequently this week, so there weren't any concerns about it going unreported. With multiple observations, it's clear that this bird remains active and isn't as elusive as the ringneck duck was. The continued presence of the lesser Scaup is a reassuring sign for those who enjoy observing it. The American widgeon was also recorded again, although this time it wasn't observed in the province of North Holland. Instead, it was seen in North Brabant. Interestingly, the bird previously observed in North Holland had certain characteristics that resembled those of a storm widgeon, which added some excitement for birders. The bird from North Brabant is just a typical American widgeon and therefore with certainty a different bird than the North Holland bird. The Dorian Strike, which has recently become viewable from a public path, was last reported on the 4th of the month. It's unclear whether it has moved on or perhaps retreated further into the restricted area nearby. This marks another chapter in the story of the Dorian Strike in the Netherlands. The first record of this species here dates back to May 4th, 1995, and remains the only documented spring occurrence of this bird in the country. Interestingly, on the very same day in 1995, a Dorian jackdaw was also recorded. Birders faced a difficult choice, as both sightings offered a rare opportunity. Those who chose the jackdaw were later disappointed, as the jackdaw was still around the following day, while the strike had already left. In the following year, another Dorian strike appeared, but this time in December, which remains the only December record to date. This pattern shows that it's not a given that this year's bird has truly left, as there's always a chance it could reappear. For yellow-browed warblers, the peak season lies behind us, but not so for Hume's leaf warblers. In fact, the season for observing Hume's leaf warblers is just beginning. This week alone, 3 individuals were recorded, showing a promising start to the season. One of these was observed on Schiermonnikoog in the Kobberduinen area, a notable spot that has proven to be a good location for Phylloscopus warblers in general. Another Hume's leaf warbler was found by a group of dedicated birders on Ameland. These birders had a successful weekend, as they also managed to find a Pallas's leaf warbler and a little bunting, making the effort worthwhile. On the topic of Pallas's leaf warblers, their peak season is also over, though a few observations still trickled in. One was observed on the 4th in Oudorp, while another bird in the Eemshaven area was seen until the 5th. Additionally, on the 6th, a bird was captured in a net at the Vlieland bird ringing station. These late observations offer a final glimpse of the Pallas's leaf warbler before the season winds down, but maybe we will see some overwintering individuals. Meanwhile, a Dusky Warbler made an appearance this week as well. While previous Dusky Warblers weren't reported again, a new individual was discovered in the North Holland Dune Reserve. The discoverer made a very good recording of its typical call. It's always a thrill when a rare bird like the Dusky Warbler is accompanied by a clear audio recording, adding an extra layer to the observation. This week also saw the appearance of 3 little buntings, possibly even 4, but it's uncertain whether the observations around the Vlieland ringing station involved 2 different birds or just one seen multiple times. Other observations were made at the Vulkaan migration site and another in the Katwijk area. The hoopoe on Ameland was last observed on the 9th, marking the end of its visit. It's always a delight to observe a hoopoe with its distinctive appearance and behavior. In Den Burg, the rosy starling remained present throughout the week. Although there were initial concerns about the health of the bird, it appears to be doing well, allowing birders to breathe a sigh of relief. The bird seems to be resilient, adapting well to the environment. A report from last Sunday noted the Pectoral Sandpiper in Arnhem, ensuring that the species was part of the previous week's overview. Initially, it seemed that with the departure of the Arnhem bird, the species wouldn't appear in these reports for several months. However, this was proven wrong when another Pectoral Sandpiper appeared on a flooded bulb field, which has previously hosted both red-necked and grey phalaropes. November observations of Pectoral Sandpipers in the Netherlands are extremely rare, and birders are now wondering if this one will stick around into December. A BlackWi Kite also made a brief appearance this week. The bird was observed near the Belgian border in the southwestern part of the Netherlands on the 7th, creating a moment of excitement for local birders. The subadult glockenskol in IJmuiden was also seen again. This bird covers a large area ranging around Beverwijk and was seen at 3 different locations this week. Its green leg ring makes it easy to identify, offering birders a chance to confirm each observation with confidence. One of the week's highlights was the observation of a male desert wheatear on Wieringen. This bird has been much easier to observe than the one that stayed on Texel a month earlier. Though the weather hasn't been ideal for filming, birders are hoping that this beautiful specimen will stay a while longer, providing more opportunities for observation. Recently, it was also reported that another desert wheatear was seen on the 25th. Whether or not the photos are good enough for the bird to be accepted is uncertain. If all records are accepted, the total for the Netherlands would reach 55 observations. Of these, 53 have occurred in the past 30 years, making the desert wheatear just rare enough to remain a review species. As for surrounding countries, Great Britain recorded an exciting observation of a scarlet tanager in a residential area. This bird had apparently been there for some time and is still present, though it's not always easy to observe. With hundreds of birders using the same narrow viewing point, it can be a challenge to catch a glimpse of this rare visitor. In Poland, a first ever Sykes warbler was recorded for the country. The identification wasn't immediately confirmed, but the late date hinted that it might be something rarer than a booted warbler. This has added a new and exciting species to Poland's birding records. Meanwhile, Sweden recorded yet another black-faced bunting this season, marking the 7th case for Europe this autumn. Birders in the Low Countries are hoping that they won't miss out, though if one appears here, it's likely to be an overwintering individual. In Germany, a sandhill crane was discovered, a sighting that's nearly become an annual event. This time, the bird was observed quite close to the Dutch border, causing quite a stir among Dutch birders. If the crane decides to shift slightly westward, it could enter the Netherlands, a rare treat given that there's only one previous twitchable record from September 1991. However, it's equally possible that the bird will migrate further south to France or Spain. For now, it remains in Germany, but birders on both sides of the border are keeping watch. Finally, the pine grosbeaks haven't shown much inclination to move further south yet. Could another migration wave pass by without a single observation in the Low Countries? Stay tuned for more updates. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button.